This was my introduction to Coconut Productions' Red Origins, the Afro-Futurist fantasy shonen. I'm known as Kepra, and this is Godsidian number 1. Alright, so picture this. I was back in 2016. I was scrolling on Facebook, and then I came upon the little animatic that I showed you guys in the beginning. And I was watching it and I was like, whoa, that looked kind of nice. And keep in mind at the time, Naruto was big. Naruto's still big, but back in the day, Naruto was huge, man. All them Storm games. So I'm watching the animatic and I'm seeing it. And I'm like, whoa, they doing jutsus over there, man. But it's like African. And I'm like, and I'm looking, I'm like, whoa, that's kind of nice. I like that. So, I look at the page and it's Coconut Productions. And at the time, they're pushing Red Origins hard. And I'm like, okay, this is something I can get into, Because, I'm from West Africa. I'm from Ghana. So, and I've always been kind of brought up with, a lot of African media that not a lot of other people have seen, like Kirikou and the Sorceress and different things. So seeing something that was African and it was something kind of cool and not just like for kids or anything, and it looked really enticing to me. So I followed the page and I kept up with it, and eventually they were like, yo, the comic is coming out. And I was like, the comic is coming out. Wait a minute, let me get myself invested. And so, the webtoon just kind of dropped. And at that time, I had no idea what webtoon was. So I was like, I don't even know what this is, but I'm gonna go sign up so I can read some Red Origins, man. So I really gotta thank Red Origins for putting me onto webtoon, because now I have a whole list of webtoons that I gotta read, and a lot of interesting creators that I've met, or at least works that I've been immersed in as well. So I gotta thank Red Origins for that. Red Origins begins with our main character Obi finding his father's chief hat that has the power to take him home. He, alongside his friends Temi and John, were together when they were suddenly transported to Neo-Africa. It's here where John mistakenly takes the mask off of an African spirit, known as a masquerade, breaking an ancient rule known as the Bronze Taboo, which states that the killing of any human spirit or masquerade is strictly forbidden. After committing their crime, the trio are brought to Spirit Court to be judged by the Great Ajofia, and were initially sentenced to death. However, after some advice from Nedi, the termite oracle, Ajofia instead sentenced them to listen to the Juju Corps, a peacekeeping force which keeps balance between the human and spiritual worlds. Not feeling that the punishment was enough, Ajofia also cursed the children, barring them from ever returning home. In reaction to this extreme sentencing, our protagonists attempt to escape, thus beginning their journey in an unfamiliar land, Neo-Africa. Red Origins is set in Neo-Africa in the year 2070. Now, Neo-Africa is this technologically advanced version of Africa. They have all kinds of new tech. They have all kinds of very fancy things, that you would probably see in future movies. In the first chapter, they have like this cool-looking train that I would assume moves very fast. They don't really explain the technology as of yet. They got robots, they got holographic tech, they firing lasers, and it's just it looks very cool. The most interesting part about Red Origins' world is how they're able to merge the traditional Africa with futuristic Africa, and it's kind of in bits and pieces, and it's kind of sectioned off. So in the first chapter, the trio first appear in Abuja, Nigeria. And we see them, kind of exploring a little bit, and they try to make their way to a train station. But along the way, you see that they kind of pass through a market, kind of like a traditional, outside market where you can go and buy goods and stuff like that. And then like right after the market, there's this giant dome, and it's like blue and it's shining. And inside it, the train station, they got like robots walking around and holograms and all kinds of different stuff. It's very just interesting to see because a lot of futuristic places or like settings that you've seen in modern media, it's just usually always like just regular, everything is technology, and when you see it in Red Orange, you're like, oh, okay, so they got a little market area, they chilling, and they're selling goods here and there, but they got the futuristic train station in the back, and it's just very interesting to see, and it definitely feels very, very African. And I was like, okay, I really appreciate that. It looks nice, and I haven't seen it done to this effect since like the Black Panther movie. And so it's definitely an interesting premise, and I'm definitely interested in seeing what else they do with it. Now that we've talked about Neo-Africa, let's discuss some of the people that inhabit it and the roles that they play in this story. Obilota Okonkwo, nicknamed Obi, is a 10-year-old boy from Abuja, Nigeria, and is the main character of Red Origins. Now, Obi lives in Southern California, and he's had to move a lot of times because his father is a scientist. Because of this, Obi becomes homesick, which is what causes him to grab his father's chief hat, spurring on the events of the plot. Now, if we take a look at Obi's design, he definitely has one of the best designs for main characters that I've seen in a little while, in terms of like webcomics and manga and stuff. He just looked kind of cool, man. He has he got that little headband on him. My boy rocking like some I was about to say baggy jeans, but they're more like shorts, the joints that like Aladdin was wearing. He got a little bit of drip on him, but arguably the greatest design choice is my boy's arm, bro. I mean, for me, man, top tier character design is characters that have big arms. It's one, characters that have big arms, and two, characters that wear bandages, man. That's just some cool, man. But when I tell you, I love that as like a kid, and even now, bro, I just think it just makes you look cool, bro. To the fact where one of my most favorite shows that I used to watch back when I was a kid, the name of the show was Eon Kid, and it's about this kid who has like this giant metal fist. And from there, man, giant fists have been the top of my, like, oh, you got a giant fist on? You're now currently my favorite character. I'm sorry, man. There's no competition now. You got a big fist? You the bro now. You know what I'm saying? So he definitely looks cool, and that arm, man, is definitely like the icing on the cake in terms of character design for me. So my boy just looked kind of clean. You feel me? So apart from Obi's design, he also is described to be like a kind of timid guy who's kind of confused and doesn't really know what's going on. He's just kind of been like thrust into this unfamiliar land, so he's not too familiar as to what's going on. But he's down for his homies. He's ready to fight for his friends, and if he has to get into the mix, he'll get into the mix. And you can kind of see that throughout the first chapter, when Obi and his rest of his friends are kind of on the run from their punishment of being trapped in Neo-Africa. Obi's just like, he's very confused the entire time. One of his friends is like, bro, I thought you said, this was your spot. I thought you said, you was home. And Obi's like, man, I ain't never seen nothing like this before in my life, man. Everything looked different. I don't know what's going on. Why are we here? And it's definitely, jarring for him, but he's trying his best to, save face and stick with his friends. But you know, he's definitely clearly just not aware of really what's going on, which I understand, because it's definitely, you know, you don't wake up every day and get transported you know, halfway across the ocean. So I understand his panic. But, you know, as the first chapter goes on, they make their way to like a train station, and at that point Obi is he's still kind of lost, and, you know, my boy, he ends up getting separated from the rest of the group. Yeah, a bunch of different things start kind of happening to him after he gets separated from the rest of his friends. And it's just like, man, my man Obi just can't catch a break, man. He just cannot catch a break. he first transports to Neo Africa. He has no idea what this place is. It's been a hot minute since he's been back to Nigeria, and this ain't the same Nigeria he knew when he was growing up. Now all of a sudden he got people chasing him. He's now there's all this new kind of magic and things going on, so he's definitely confused. So, you know, when he does get separated from his friends, and more events, more things, you know, just kind of start happening to him, this other guy is trying to chase him, and it kind of brings me to a secondary point where it's like Obi seems to understand that he has some kind of power to him, and he uses it to try and escape this guy who's like creepily chasing after him. And Obi, he's trying to run away for dear life, bro, but, you know, he's kind of like dodging and weaving and counterattacking. And at one point he uses like his little aura, and he's using it to zoom past him so that he can finally escape the guy, which doesn't really work out for him, but it, you know, it was a good plan. And I like to see, you know, okay, so I'm like, okay, Obi is, you know, he's moving, man. He has some kind of knowledge to him, and you know, so he's fighting the guy, and he's fighting this like strange guy who's chasing after him. And at one point, the guy gets a hold of him, and when he gets a hold of him, he starts doing some really kind of weird, creepy stuff, and Obi's arm just kind of activates, and it like explodes basically out of the bandages. It starts to get really big, and you look at his arm, and it's like, whoa, okay, that's like a rock kind of thing. So he has this, I believe his right arm is like rock, and it can grow in size and change shape. So when the creepy guy has him in his grasp and his arm kind of goes buck wild, his arm, like, it started to grow to like gargantuan sizes and attacks the guy like seemingly on its own, which is, I don't know what's going on with that, but it was kind of cool to look at still. Even the guy that's chasing him is like, hold on, wait a minute now. Where is this arm coming from? I was not expecting this. But it's definitely something cool to look at. If you look at some of the animation that features Obi, you'll see that his right like rock arm can change shape and turn into like a different weapons and stuff like that. So I'm interested to see where, you know, what other things he can do with it. And it's really just like a cool, it's just like, bottom line, bro, it's just a cool thing to look at, and it's definitely why he's one of my favorite characters in BurrowRiders for sure. So apart from Obi's, you know, cool rock arm, he also has this kind of knife on him, which it's a bit more than, you know, just like a traditional weapon. It has a use that we'll discuss later on, but I just wanted to bring attention to it because it's part of his kit that he uses, and he does use it as an actual weapon. He also uses it to make like these symbols which allow him to cast magic. But like I said, we're going to discuss that later on in the video. But apart from that, Obi definitely seems to have like main character syndrome, where he's like, oh yeah, he definitely got something going on. He got that rock arm which kind of just blew up and was doing like craziness. This guy is relentlessly chasing him, so there has to be some kind of like hidden power that this man has, that why he's being relentlessly chased, and why like his powers are popping off, or probably it's the reason why he's so good at using his powers like from the jump. So I want to see where this goes. I'm trying to figure out, I'm trying to see all the reveals, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to see my boy become OP, because he looks like he has the building blocks to be a pretty powerful character, you know what I'm saying? So I'm definitely interested to see, more of my boy Obi and more of what he'll do in the future, man, for sure. Temi Edwards is a 10-year-old orphan girl living in America who does her best to think straight in a strange situation, as well as keep everyone safe. Now, if we're gonna talk about Temi and drip, Temi definitely got the drip for sure, bro. She looking kind of clean, bro. You can even tell by looking at her that she's getting into the action for sure. She got on the red glasses, man. She got on her Ray-Bans, bro. She got on that jacket and the shorts and the what are those on her feet, bro? She got red Octobers, bro. Wait a minute, Temi dripped up for real, bro. Drip too hard, don't stand too close. Y'all know the lyrics, man. Y'all know the lyrics. And yeah, man, it's just good to see, some like dark skin representation, especially for the females. She looking like she can definitely get something done, and she's definitely going to be like a headstrong part of the team, even just from design alone. But kind of to back up her design, her personality, she's described as being like smart and tech savvy, and is definitely the leader of the group. She's not afraid to get into the action, man. You know what I'm saying? I said it before, man, and it kind of showed through her design that she looked like she was already ready to get scrapping. And you can see that in the first chapter for sure, because when the whole gang is like escaping from their punishment, Temi's the one that's always like asking the questions. She's like, where are we going? What's going on? Why are we here? What's doing it? And somebody has to be asking these questions, bro. You know what I'm saying? You can't just let things happen to you. So Temi is that person. She's ready to get into the mix and figure out what's going on. After Obi gets separated from the group during the train station, Temi is like, all right, let's go find our boy. And before they can even do that, one other girl shows up and she's like, yo, Temi, what's good with you? And Temi's like, yo, what's good then? You want parts? And Temi and that girl start fighting, bro. And I wasn't expecting that. I was like, whoa, Temi getting down already, bro. But Temi was throwing fair ones, man. Temi was hitting up that girl like bang, bang, bro. They was throwing hands real quick, man. And I was like, okay, Temi, I like that, bro. I like that. You got a female character and she's throwing hands too, bro. Come on, bro. Top tier. Still below Obi, but still top tier. It was just cool to see that, she was just getting into the mix. And in the most popular shonen manga, female characters don't really have that kind of headstrong leader, get into the mix kind of attitude. Don't get me wrong, they be in there sometimes, but a lot of them, because shonen is catered to young boys, so I get why you would really want to focus on the boys, but y'all gotta give some of these girls some love too, man. It's we in the modern age. I'm trying to see everybody throw hands and everybody be a leader and just stuff like that. So when I'm seeing Temi, I'm like, oh yeah, we in the future, dog, for real. We in the future. So apart from, Temi's willingness to get into a fight and, her martial arts ability, Temi also has the ability to control two inkisi, which are animated fetishes. Now, notice the way I say fetish and not fetish, because those are two different things. A fetish is an inanimate object that is supposed to have a spirit or inhabit it. Usually a fetish is inhabited by like a spirit of a dead person, a spirit of nature, a god, or a criminal, and the spirit will inhabit the doll, and the doll will be able to, attack and participate in combat. If you've ever seen Kiriko and the Sorceress Karaba also uses fetishes, which are these, they're wooden dolls that kind of have like freaky movement, and they can, some of them have different powers, some of them can dig, some of them can shoot flames, some of them make patterns in the dirt, and they were used as like her minions. So it's kind of the same idea for Temi's Inkisi, where she can use them to do different tasks and participate in combat, while she also is doing something else and also participating in combat. So the two Inkisi that Temi has are known as Radi and Kibi. The spirits that inhabit the two of them were known as the Ngoma sisters. And the Ngoma sisters were this like criminal duo who had these powers, who were just like destroying things. I believe Kibi was actually documented as having destroyed like 100 cities, or burning down 100 cities in like an entire day. So they were really some powerful people when they were alive. And when they were defeated, their punishment was to turn into Inkisi. So now Temi has access to their powers and can use them. Roddy has the power over lightning, and Kibi has the power over fire. So, you have those two together, it's going to be a problem for some of these enemies that Temi's going to have to fight. So the fact that Temi has these powers to her disposal is definitely going to make her a formidable opponent. I'm definitely interested to see what she can do with them and how she does it. I believe even in the animation, you kind of get an example of what she can do. She's attacking with them from afar, and then she gets in up close, and I believe her and Kisi can also transform into like knives or something. While I was doing my research, I didn't find anything that confirmed that they could turn into knives or other weapons, or if that was just with Temi's and Kisi, but they're definitely cool, and I'm definitely interested in seeing more of them. Temi is up there, I'm telling you, man, for sure. John Guzman is an 11-year-old Hispanic boy whose jovial personality and jokes unfortunately got himself and his friends trapped in Neo-Africa. Now, John, I'm gonna have to be honest with John. He, in terms of drip, man, kind of lacking, bro. I'm sorry, man. You got the least drip out of the trio for sure, bro. It's going. OB, Temi, John, bro. Cause John, you ain't got no drip, bro. But he looked like he came prepared, though. I won't hold you. John got the backpack on. You know what I'm talking about? He got that backpack. My boy got some snacks in there, bro. I'm terrible. It's okay. I'm a big person too. You know what I'm saying? So we gotta represent for our peoples. You feel me? so my boy got snacks up in there. My boy, he probably got all kind of different like survival gear. So in terms of being prepared for his adventure, John is definitely the most prepared. I won't even hold you. I find John's inclusion in Red Origins interesting because if you think about like most African-centered stories or Afro-futurist stories, you don't really see many other people outside of like the African people, or like, and maybe a white antagonist or something like that. But having John be here is definitely kind of refreshing, because it's like, okay, maybe he could learn something too. I'm trying to figure out what kind of things he'll pick up from this adventure. Maybe he has some kind of connection to Neo-African, you know what I'm saying? Maybe he'll learn something about his own heritage or his own backstory or something like that, because at the end of the day, we all one people that came out of Africa and just settled different places, the out of Africa theory, you know what I'm saying? So it's definitely interesting to see this Hispanic character in this very African-centered story, and I'm interested in seeing what he does and what he takes away from this experience. But honestly, I gotta be honest, man. If it was me, Obi and Temi are better friends than me, bro. Because if it was me, I'd be like, yo, fuck you, John. It's your fault that why we here, bro. I'm stuck here because of you, dog. Because your ass couldn't stop playing for 15 fucking minutes. You show up in a new spot, you out there touching shit. Come on, bro. Who raised you, bro? Who raised you? Number one rule is you don't go out there. You don't go nowhere you're not supposed to go. It's touching shit, man. Now we here. I can't go home. I can't go see my mom. I can't get no home cooked meals. I'm stuck here because of you, man. But I do appreciate, that they're still with their boy, even though it's John's fault why they are kind of here. Or at least it's John's fault why they can't return home. And so it's kind of funny because John, he seems to be the guy where he's just like, hey, I'm trying to make jokes, I'm trying to make everybody feel good, you know what I'm saying? He's trying to see like the best out of both situations. I gotta respect John for trying to be the positive one in this kind of, frankly, it's a tragic situation, not being able to return home. So and even though it was John's fault, he seems to be like, I'm sorry guys, I really didn't know what was going on, but I'm still here for y'all, and I'm glad that they still here for. I'm glad that his friends are still there for him. And if you look at like John's actions in the first chapter, he's just kind of, cracking jokes here and there, trying to make everyone kind of feel good a little bit. Comic relief. You know how that goes. But when Temi is fighting that one girl, right? John is in there. He's like, "Hey guys, you probably shouldn't be fighting," which they probably shouldn't be fighting, but Temi and that girl is going at it, throwing hands back and forth, and John, even though he is this guy who's like, I don't really want to fight too bad, and I don't want to get confrontational, he's like, nah, my friend is in danger, we gotta break up this fight. And he actually breaks up the fight by using his ability to help her. And that takes me to his ability, which is John is dead. John is not alive anymore. He's see-through. He can phase through things, which is drastic. To be able to save face while being a ghost, that is some shit. That's some shit. I won't even hold you. That is some, like, you have to be like really mentally strong to be able to be like, to come to terms with like, oh yeah, I'm dead, but we still chilling, it's still a good time, we still out here to have a good time, what I'm saying? He has this ability where he can go ghost, and basically where he can go ghost and phase through things. But along with that ability, and this has to be like the funniest, most ironic ability ever, is John has the ability to turn into masquerades by putting on their masks, right? And it's such a strange power, because it's like, John, did you not learn? did you not learn not to put on masks? But your whole power is putting on masks. Where are you getting these masks from, bro? Who are these masquerades giving up these masks to you, bro? It's just funny to think about it, because it's like, man, did you just wasn't paying attention or listening, huh? You did you forget that you're trapped here in Neo Africa because you took off the mask of a masquerade? No, you're just gonna use it as your power now. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. That's a, hey man, whatever helps you, bro. Whatever helps you. But yeah, John has the power to turn into a masquerade by putting on their masks. And when I talk about masquerade, I'm not talking about like American masquerades. I'm talking about African masquerades. And in various African traditions, masquerades are events that include several masked dancers that embody various spirits. So people in many of these African societies believe that spirits basically become visible and are able to perform through the masquerades. These masqueraded dancers are usually found in important social events such as coming of age ceremonies and funerals. And the reason that they're there is to kind of have these spirits oversee these events. And these masquerade dancers are important for these kind of social events and ceremonies, as it'll be like a spiritual kind of blessing thing, will help for like good fortune. And sometimes they're there for like, in terms of like the coming of age ceremony, the masquerades will be there to see, that this young person becomes into a good adolescent. And it's definitely something that is interesting to research and look at. I think I've actually been to a masquerade. I believe it was in Jamaica. Sometimes masquerades are actually on stilts. And it was interesting to see, because they have like music, and it's an event. So to see that masquerades are getting representation in Red Origins is good to see. And I'm actually very interested to see where John's masquerade power goes, because the Colonna Productions actually released like some very interesting masquerade designs that I haven't really seen before, like in any media ever, and they look kind of cool. And I was like, okay, I'm very interested in see what they can do and what kind of powers that they have, and what are some of the properties and things. And how John's getting these masks. I'm still trying to figure that out. Where is he getting these masks from? Is he taking more of them? Why are you doing this, John? Stop taking the mask, bro. You trying to go to double prison. Stop it, bro. Yeah, so I do think John is definitely an interesting character, you know, with his whole thing of him being a ghost. I want to see how he interacts with, you know, everybody, and how he handles enemies, and what kind of masquerades he'll bring to battle, and how he'll use them to defeat his enemies. Definitely a cool character, and I'm glad that he's in Red Origins for sure. Alongside the main trio, there are some other important characters that we should probably talk about that appear in the first chapter. The first of these characters being the BeastRiders / BurrowRiders, which are actually the first characters that we see in the first chapter of Red Origins. They're the ones that are helping the main trio try to escape from their punishment and escape Neo-Africa, basically. The BeastRiders have these dogs with them, and they're kind of nimbly trying to avoid being chased by some guy who's firing lasers at them, right? And you know, they're dodging and weaving, and them kids is holding on for them dear lives, man. And you know, like the BeastRiders, they're doing their best to try to avoid this guy. And at one point, you know, they're setting up bombs and they're counterattacking this guy who's chasing after them. And at some point, the BeastRiders are like, all right, look, we gotta call in our homies, the BurrowRiders. And the BurrowRiders are these guys who have like these kind of sand-looking outfits, you know, these desert outfits, and they come up in these giant like mole creatures, and they're digging underground, and they're also moving, and the guy is still trying to chase them, but you know, the BurrowRiders are kind of nimble and adept, and their animals have like giant headlights and everything, and it's just kind of cool to see these beasts. I definitely want to learn more about them. I want to see them again for sure. I just want to know more about like their backstory and things like that. And they're definitely interesting characters, especially since they're the first ones that we see. Although they do have some strange, I would say, motivations. In the beginning, you know, once you're reading the first chapter, it's not apparent why the BeastRiders or the BurrowRiders are helping these kids trying to escape. And because we kind of just start with them running away, and you know, the BeastRiders even offer to steal them train tags so that they can go somewhere on the train station, and the BeastRiders give them the tags and kind of send them on their way. So Temi, she takes a look at the tags, and she's asking Obi like, yo, where are we supposed to be going with these tags, man? And Obi's like, oh, we're supposed to go to Umudara. And Temi's looking at the tags like, hold on a minute, these don't say Umudara on them, bro. these say some other spot. So you can kind of see that the BeastRiders seem to have their own kind of ulterior motive with it. And if you see the events of the first chapter, you do know that they kind of lead the kids into a trap. And, you know, so it's unfortunate that these characters seem to be antagonists. We're not sure exactly why they're antagonists as of yet, but they were still cool to see in the short time that they appeared in the first chapter. The next character we'll be talking about is Anansi. If you read the first chapter, in the first chapter, there's this lady who distracts Obi and separates him from Temi and John. And this woman, which, come on, Obi, I feel you, bro. I feel you. She look kind of good, but still, man, you gotta be careful, dog. You just can't be running off like that. So this woman, she distracts Obi and takes him onto basically another empty train. And as soon as Obi gets on the train, the woman just starts running, and Obi's like, yo, hold on, wait a minute, where you going? where are you going? Come back. and the woman disappears into like webs, and it's at that point Obi's like, oh, I am in trouble, bro. Because that's where that creepy guy I was talking about from the beginning shows up, and he's like, hey, I'm here for you, boy. If you take a look at Anansi and his design, he looks kind of nice. You know what I'm saying? Got the little white face paint, definitely looking kind of cool. And if you didn't know, Anansi is actually based on Anansi the Spider, which is a character prominently featured in African and Caribbean folklore. He's one of the most important figures in like West African culture and society. He's also featured in many like children's books, and in those children's books, Anansi is like a half man, half spider. Sometimes he's whole spider, sometimes he's whole man, and he's a trickster. He's known as like a trickster god, and Anansi in these stories is always trying to manipulate and deceive people so that he can get what he wants. You know, Anansi, he's like this, you know, cunning and witty character who has a lot of wisdom, and he has the ability to, you know, to like manipulate people. And so like in the children's books, the point of Anansi is, you know, he's this smart character who's has all this ability and can manipulate you, but he usually doesn't succeed by the end, where, you know, the moral is like, oh, kids, you probably shouldn't, you know, try to lie and try to be deceitful to help people. You know, you should probably just ask for things. You know, it's one of those kind of characters that teaches a moral at the end. It was cool for me to see him in Red Origins, because it was like, oh, okay, I recognize this guy, because I used to have the Anansi children's books when I was younger. And, you know, seeing him there, I was like, oh, wow, you know, something that, you know, that I've seen from way back in the day, getting some semi-modern, you know, representation in something, you know, because I think the last thing that must have featured Anansi was like what that one Static Shock episode, you know what I'm saying? So it's good to see my boy back, you know. And just like Anansi in the real world stories, Anansi in Red Origins, you know, is also very cunning and has, you know, the ability to transform into people and, you know, kind of deceive them and do all that kind of cunning, wittiful stuff. And of course he has webs, which is, you know, he is the Spider-Man, the OG Spider-Man before Marvel. That was the OG Spider-Man, you feel me? So it's good to see Anansi, good to see my boy getting some representation in some modern media, and I'm definitely want to see where more of my boy. I'm definitely down to see more of my boy Anansi for sure. Next up we have Mazi Mbe, or Mazi, as I'll be calling him. He's the main villain of Red Origins, and he was the guy that was chasing Obi all up and down that train station, man. He was relentless with it, and now we know why, because he's the main villain. So if we take a look at him, you know, he looks like somebody's African uncle. I'm gonna hold you. He looks like he does not play games. He looks like he demands respect, bro. He looks like he'll be disappointed at you. Like, I can already see the disappointment. I can feel it through the screen. He's like, he's judging me right now. You know, he's like, he's trying to figure out how come I didn't get an A plus on my last class. You know what I'm saying, man? Like, I got all A pluses except that one class I got an A minus, and he's judging me for that. That's the kind of character design that Mazi has. Definitely regal, you know, kind of a wise elder, which I don't know why he looked like a wise elder when he doing all this, man. Why you chasing after my boy like that? You supposed to be like uplifting him. He like, nah. nah, fuck all that. You know, it's like protect the children? Nah, harm the children. That's what we doing today. So Mazi has a very interesting design for sure. And I want to see. He just got swagger, man. I won't even hold you. He's just kind of cool, even though he's chasing after my boy Obi like that. But I do like him, bro. He gives me, you know, very Orochimaru vibes. And Orochimaru was my boy back in the day, man. I just have a thing where it's like, I don't know, man. Villains be cool sometimes, man, and they, especially like villains be having drip too. Like, come on, man, you can't give a villain drip. It's like they could be like, yeah, I destroyed I destroyed the entire village, and I'll be like, but you look cool though, bro. I'm sorry. Like, I should not like you, but I do. So Mazi is actually based on a character from a book known as Mbe Diogu, which is a book about like old animal folk tales written by Frederick Chidozie Ogbalu, who's a prominent Nigerian writer. Mazi Mbe actually translates to Mr. Tortoise in Igbo, which is a language spoken by some Nigerian people. And Mr. Tortoise is a character in that book, in Mr. Ogbalu's book. You can definitely see like the direct inspiration for this main villain of Red Origins. Mr. Tortoise is kind of a trickster, kind of like, you know, Anansi and some other trickster gods. So you can definitely see that there's there's some correlation between them, you know, because now we have Anansi and now we have Mazi Mbe, who are two tricksters. So it's like, okay, I see what you're trying to go. Maybe you're going for like an African trickster something, and it's definitely kind of cool to see. He has all kind of weird powers. He has this, he can like extend his neck, bro. So the entire time he's chasing after Obi, he's using his extendo neck powers, bro. He got him in the neck grass. I don't even know how that's possible, bro. I'm telling you, man. Orochimaru is for real, bro, with the neck. He pulled out his cane from his mouth, bro. I was like, okay, bro, yeah. I know the Orochimaru vibes when I seen him, bro. You know what I'm saying? And if you really take a look at, like, the actions that Mazi takes in the first chapter, you know, he's really a creepy kind of guy, man. I mean, when he's chasing Obi, like I said before, he's hitting him with that long neck move, man. He's just relentlessly chasing after him. And then at some point, you know, Mazi gets Obi in his, like, neck grasp. And instead of like doing something, you know, a normal villain would do, like killing the main character or something else like that, this man Mazi says, you know what? Now that I have you in my grasp, now that I've captured you, I want to whisper some shit in your ear, like, bro, that is weird, bro. Why you gotta be so weird with it, bro? Why can't you just be regular with it, man? Come on, dog. Why can't you just kill the main character and just be satisfied? You're like, nah. First, I'm gonna relentlessly chase a 10-year-old through a train station, and then after I chase that 10-year-old, I'm gonna whisper shit in his ear. It's just like, whoa, bro. Like, granted, I'm sure there's some kind of reason that isn't explained as of yet why he wants to whisper in Obi's ear for some reason. So eventually, you know, Obi escapes from Mazi's grasp, and Mazi's trying to chase him, but the cops kind of intervene and they start firing at him, and he's like, oh, okay, I gotta take defensive maneuvers. So he starts to, you know, like retract into his shell because he's, you know, the tortoise guy. He's Mr. Tortoise. So, and his shell is like impenetrable, basically. They're shooting at him and it's not doing anything to him. And while he's in his shell, bro, he's using like this tongue attack, and he's knocking out heads, bro. And I'm like, yo, this man is kind of strong for real, because and not only is he strong, he's resourceful too, bro. I mean, my bro's using his tongue. Pause. My bro, yo, pause on that for real. But I mean, he's resourceful, bro. He got a tongue attack. He got a neck attack. Yo, pause on that as well. But he's really just using everything to his advantage, which is definitely kind of interesting, because from before, like even with like Anansi and even the BeastRiders, we've seen that, you know, they have some kind of like magical properties to them. But with Mazi, it's just straight like, nah, I'm gonna give you this 100% USDA organic ass whipping, bro. Come here, so I can whisper shit in your ear. It's ridiculous every time I think about it, but I know there's something that we just don't know yet as to what Mazi's reasonings are. But definitely I would say the creepiest thing that Mazi does to Obi is when Obi first sees Mazi. Obi looks at him and he's like, oh shit, I know you. You're the motherfucker that was in my dream. and so it turns out Mazi has like been going inside Obi's head while he's sleeping and like terrorizing him, bro. Which, can I just say, bro, that is some top level shit, bro. Top level villainy right there, bro. It's not enough for you to just be a looming threat in the main character's mind. It's like, no. You thought you was gonna get some reprieve from your thoughts while you were sleeping? No, you about to have nightmares with me too. I'm gonna be here 24/7 in your head, bro. You better always be thinking about me. And I'm like, damn, bro, that man, well, he's really relentless, bro. He's not playing at all. But it's definitely it's a cool villain type thing. And I was like, okay, bro, I like that, bro. You don't give them kids a rest, bro. Stay in their heads, bro. You know what I'm talking about, bro? But it's just an interesting thing to think about, that like, man, this man is really that powerful that he's in the main character's dreams and is terrorizing him, and has seemingly like set this entire thing up where the BeastRiders kind of drop him off at the train station, and Anansi comes and he separates Obi from the rest of the group, and then Mazi's there, and he's he's apart from being like a trickster god, he's definitely my man. He know how to set up a good plan, bro, because that was an excellent plan. And it just kind of brings up a point where it's like, bro, what does Mazi want from Obi? Because clearly when he was whispering shit in his ear, I don't know what he was doing or why he was doing it, but the way he was relentlessly chasing after Obi, yeah, bro, there's something he wants from him, which kind of feeds into my idea that Obi has some kind of like hidden power within him that Mazi wants, or something along that level, because you don't chase somebody like that without having some extreme ulterior motives, bro. My man, he's on the mission, and he's not gonna stop until he gets what he wants, man. And I can respect that from a villain side, you know what I'm saying? So Mazi's definitely a cool guy. Definitely want to see more of my boy, and I just hope that he'll accept me for getting that A- on my report card. Please, man, I'm sorry, I tried. Last but not least, we have Muchona, who was actually the guy who was chasing them in the beginning of the first chapter. He was the one that was like firing the lasers and doing all those kind of things, right? And if you take a look at Muchona, I gotta be honest, Muchona has the most drip out of anybody in Red Origins so far. I mean, like, even topping Obi, bro. It's like, and the funny thing about it is Muchona don't even have like a lot of clothes on, bro. But he's still drippy. Still, I mean, the glasses, bro, and he got like the little shirt on, bro. He got a little necklace. I mean, my boy is rocking it, bro. He's just kind of cool, bro. Like if I was a younger kid and had seen this for the first time, I'd be like, yeah, that's my boy right there. That's my boy right there. Because Muchona just looks. He's just a very good character design. Besides that, he has this kind of guitar-like instrument known as an Ngoni lute. I believe that's how you pronounce it. And he uses it to like fire lasers in the first chapter, and he's firing at the BeastRiders. And I believe in the animation he can also use it for other things. I believe in the animation he uses it to like summon some clones from clay or something like that. So it's a cool concept where it's like, okay, you got this little instrument weapon going on. It's ideas like that where it's like, okay, man, this is why I like Red Origins, because y'all just be making like cool shit that I don't really see a whole lot of in media. So I'm like, okay, I like that. I'm messing with that. Alongside his instrument weapon, Muchona is actually known as Muchona the Hornet, because when he gets drunk, he has this kind of alter ego, which is completely different from his normal, kind of calm and mysterious demeanor. And if you look at some of the supplemental material that Colonel Productions provides about Red Origins, you'll see that they actually released an album called Through the Red Lens, which is an album all about Muchona, and it provides a collection of songs that kind of get you to learn more about Muchona and the job that he's been given, the impossible task that he has to do, which also seems to play into why he has, this problem with drinking.
Muchona, a talented musician who's given up love, who's given up everything. I mean, there's multiple stories about people who give up everything to become king. But how many stories of giving up everything to become just a teacher of someone to become a king? Do you see what I'm saying? So and then not appreciated for it. And that's the entire story. So if you want to talk to someone about love, you want to talk to someone about pain, you want to talk to someone about creativity, you want to talk to someone about God, Muchona's got all the answers. But even in a society of people who know what he's talking about, they still don't mess with him. And that's what I'm saying, that being misunderstood and sacrificing everything just to be misunderstood, through those red lenses, you can only imagine what he really sees. And so the only thing that matters really when you're that kind of person who spent so much time alone with facts, the only thing that could actually give you peace of mind is a complete, pure hope.
Near the end of the chapter, Muchona saves an unconscious Obi, revealing himself to be their Jelly, a teacher that trains young African magicians to become members of the Juju Corps. And that ends off part 1 of Godsidian number 1. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, I want to really and truly and sincerely thank you. This video has been a long time coming for me, both the concept and with me editing this video. So like I said, if you've made it here, thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, man. I know there's a lot technically wrong with the video, and I kind of had to like fight myself on it, because part of me was just like, this isn't up to a decent standard, but the other part of it was like, but this is good information, man. I think this is entertaining enough. Hopefully you guys were entertained. Let me know some feedback in the comment section. I definitely plan to do better in the future, but that's pretty much all I have to say about that. Thanks for watching. If you made it all the way here, I appreciate you once more. The second part to Godsidian number 1 will be coming out soon. I'm not gonna give y'all a date right now, but there will be a part 2 to this video. If you want to go and read BurrowRiders, I'll leave a link in the description. It's heat. Trust me, if you watch all the way to this video, then you have some kind of interest. So I'm gonna leave the description. I will leave the link to the webtoon in the description. Go ahead, read that. Let them know Godsidian put you on, bro. And I will be back with part 2 of Godsidian number 1. Alright.